Yeah. Sports reports, no gimmicks, no clowns. 2-5, Mr. Logical, we run this town. Real talk only, no chasing, no doubt. From the east to the west, it's the order we shout. Mic check, lights flash, game time, stay ready. 2 vets in the zone, keep the pressure real heavy. Big hits, big plays, yeah, we breaking it down. Truth rings in your speakers, every word is the crown. From the north side hustle to that southern flame. Midwest grind, west coast of the game. Sports talk kings, yeah, we wear that crown. Turn it up, let them know it's about to go down. Sports reports, no gimmicks, no clowns. 2-5, Mr. Logical, we run this town. Real talk only, no chaser, no doubt. From the east to the west, it's the order we shout.
It's about to go down.
Yes. You are now listening to the sounds of Sports Reports as ordered. And if you listen just a little bit harder, you might hear the heartbeats of some OKC fans sounding like Sasquatch feet. You know what I'm saying? I got with me the one and only world-renowned, world-famous. He goes by the name of Mr. Logical. And then, of course, down here in the Alamo, it is I, your unorthodox statistician, 2-5. Let's get right to it. So, Mr. Logical, y'all full of shit.
Yeah.
Y'all full of shit. Basketball fans. Because y'all sit up here all week long and act like y'all want fair games. You don't want fair games. You want what you want. So I say that to say, all this talk about OKC and the refs, right? And SGA and his benefit of the whistle. Now, am I going to act like SGA doesn't get some crappy calls? No, I'm not going to act like that. You know what I'm saying? But what I am going to act like is the fans have done so much complaining. It's on all the TV shows that Game 4 came and went, and the Spurs just beat the hell out of OKC on the scoreboard and physically. And not a peep. Nobody is saying, hey, what happened to the fair game? Hey, the OKC got screwed. Like, we ain't hearing none of that. We just hearing, oh, well, basically OKC got what they deserved, I guess. So I guess my takeaway is supposed to be, if OKC wins, things aren't on the up and up. But if they lose and the Spurs win by 20 or so, apparently it was all fair. You know what I'm saying? Apparently the refs called a good game. So apparently the Spurs are 20 points better than OKC at their best or whatever, because it's all about the refs, right?
The refs have not really impacted the games as much as I think people want to say they have. The flopping has been obnoxious, though. You didn't see much of that in the. Yeah, you didn't see much of that in the East Conference Finals. The West, I think it's a matter of a guy will get a call because of a flop. So then on the other end, somebody else sells it, and then on the back on the other end, someone else tries to sell it. I think it makes it difficult for the refs. They got to figure out the flopping rule. So I know there was a fine or something associated with it back in James Harden's heyday when they felt like he was flopping too much. LeBron's a culprit as well. But I think they just really got to either enforce it or give a technical free throw if it's egregious enough. Like if you get bumped and jump in the air and fall on a screen, like if you're trying to run through a screen and the guy you graze him and then you leave your feet straight up and then fall down to the side, then I think we get to go to the monitor, check it out. If it looks like a flop, you give the other team a free throw and they get the ball back on the side. Gotta cut out that nonsense. Because if you really get hit hard enough, you're probably going to fall. Like these guys, they do the introductions. SGA is 6'6", Chet 7'1", Hardenstein 7 feet. I mean, these guys are Castle just blew one. These guys are large men. So it's like if you get bumped, you're probably gonna fall. You don't have to sell it. If the guy fouls you, you're getting fouled by, pretty large
up,
person,
Mike?
you're gonna fall. What's going on, Mike? So yeah,
Well,
I think the way they sell it is getting excessive.
Well, I was sitting out at the Rock the other day, the Rock at Lock and Terror, with all these 6,000 Spurs fans ready to rock and roll Sunday night. And my first takeaway from game 4 was the Cincinnati Bengals could really use Steph Castle. Like, he was out here beating on SGA. He was holding them. And, said they weren't calling nothing. And, and I'm okay with that if it goes both ways. The problem is that anytime somebody got near a Spur, it was a foul call. And, and it's easy, right? Because I can look at the box score and say, hey, OKC shot 6 for 33 from the 3 line. You ain't going to win games that way. But I can also, in that same breath, go, how am I supposed to get in rhythm if this is how they're calling the game? But here's some advice for OKC. Sit Lou Dort down. You know what I'm saying? Sit Harden down because they suck. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Hartenstein isn't doing that little punk-ass floater, he's contributing nothing outside of game 2. Lou Dort, on the other hand,
well, in game
even
2,
supplying that.
If we were able to have our show game 2, I was going to preface that the games 3 and 4 in San Antonio were going to be tough for OKC because San Antonio could just basically take a highlight reel of Hartenstein or Chet holding Wemby's arm with both hands, or on those early layups, Hartenstein.
And that's what I'm saying. Call
trying
that.
to post up. He was face guarding him like they were 2 interior linemen practicing pregame. Like, he just had him stood up like this. I'm like, yo, ref, the ball is even if you're watching SGA at the top to keep the ball in his hand, by the time he gets to the rim, your eyes have to see that probably the most aggressive shot blocker in the NBA isn't jumping to block this layup. Why is that? Like, because the other 7-foot guys bear hugging him in the lane. Like, and I knew that games 3 and 4 were going to get called a certain way. Like I said, in game 3, OKC just came out, hitting more shots and they're more consistent. But eventually, the NBA was like, it was going to be a conversation. Phil Jackson was a master of this. He would do it in a press conference. He might slip something like, hey, it'd be nice if Shaq didn't get bruised every time he was down low. And that's how he would end the press conference. And then all of a sudden, the next game, Shaq gets 18 free throws. But
that's what I'm saying. But the Spurs don't even have to do that type of gamemanship because the media's doing it for them. Even though you look across you see the Spurs taking more free throws than OKC. So that's the crazy part about it. You know what I mean? But but OKC's in trouble. You know what I'm saying? I still think they're going to win the series, but it's going to be tough without AJ Mitchell if he can't come back. Not from the standpoint of you're missing 19 points and 8 assists or something like that, but that's another ball handler that makes Shea's job a little easier because now Shea has to be facilitator and scorer too because they still need him to get about 28 points or so to feel comfortable. Caruso the other night only took 1 shot because he was in foul trouble most of the night. Jarrett McCain, 1 of 10. Harrison Barnes came off the bench and provided some valuable minutes. Like, he didn't score or
every time
like
he
that.
Shoots,
but
I think about 2016. Every time he shoots the ball, if it goes in, I think, man, if you would have hit a couple of those in 2016, NBA would be completely different right now.
But this is the other thing. But this is the other thing we need to do. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander of the University of Kentucky, Canada's finest. I need you to be a man. You know what I'm saying? He will not go into that paint if Wemby is there. You know who would have? J-Dub would have, but he's not here. So guess what? You got to do it. And if you're getting that whistle that everybody says that you get, you need to go in there and get that whistle. Because, like, basically all that to say, when Wemby's off the court, OKC has to win those minutes by 10 to 12 points. Because once he's back in the game, it's either going to be even or the Spurs are going to jump out ahead. So you got to take advantage of every single second that he's not on the floor. I'm ready to see what happens tonight. You know what I mean? ironically enough, Mr. Logical, I had a thought when I was watching the game the other day. And I said to myself, it looks like the Spurs, maybe not this year, but they're going to pull off, ironically, what OKC couldn't. The Harden, Westbrook, Durant. You got Wemby in your Durant role. Castle is your Westbrook. And, you got Dylan Harper as your Harden. It looked like they might pull that off. You know what I mean? That OKC could not do.
Yeah, because it was back-to-back years, right?
Right.
Between KD, Russ, and James. So when the money is due, yeah. Looks like it's going to be the same. I don't think they're in that much trouble because I think the offense flows freely if they can get Wemby out of the paint. If they can get Wemby on either side of the paint and they can make it all the way to the lane, I think they're good because they don't play a traditional 4 in San Antonio. And then when they bring in Cornet, they can attack the rim. So their big guards are good defenders. I think what OKC has to stop doing, and they just did it as I was about to say they had to stop doing it, they got to stop trying to get that corner pass off from the paint when Wemby's in the lane because San Antonio's waiting on it. Dylan Harper's waiting on that. Karen Johnson's they're like Castle, they're waiting on that. Vassell, they're waiting on that pass to come from the paint to the guy in the corner because they know no one's going to try to shoot a floater over Wemby. I personally think you should attack him and at least
that's what I
create
said.
A scenario where like he's going to have to goaltend it or you get into his body.
So Friday, right?
Even with no intention of like trying to make the layup, just like, you know what? Let me just get into his body. And then maybe I get a cheap foul. Maybe you get Cornet in the game a little early because right now Cornet's in the game. He's a big body, but he's not defending anything. Like right now,
so Friday,
right down the lane, floater, but he missed it. But he's not even shooting that floater with Wemby in the game.
Yeah, so Friday when I did the show, that was what I said. Like it sounds real counterproductive and non-intuitive or whatever, but I'd rather Wemby have 11 blocks than have 2. You know what I mean? Like force the action. Because within those blocks, he's going to pick up those fouls that you're talking about. That's what OKC needs to do. The good news so far is Chet has 6 points in the first quarter. So he's at least finally made an appearance, and that's been the biggest thing here is that if the only reason that the Spurs can do the things to SGA that they're doing is because Chet isn't giving them anything to not. You know what I mean? You need Jared McCain to start hitting some of these shots. If that doesn't happen, then yeah, OKC's going to go home.
I think what OKC is capable of because the way they play a lot like not OKC, but like the old OKC and like Golden State. I think the open man is the best look. Guys, like right now we just looked, I saw a guy get a long rebound. I think it's Williams or something like that. I don't think he's played much in these 5 games, but the ball bounced.
Oh yeah, Cambridge Williams, off
a layup. He stepped right into the 3, tied the game at 20.
Yeah, he hit 2 corner threes late in game 4, which was a good sign because, like you said, he hasn't played much. The other J-Dub has been playing pretty decent in this series as well. So it goes back to what you were talking about at the beginning of the series where OKC just has so many bodies. Like the Spurs are pretty deep too, but OKC has quality bodies. So when you come off the bench with the Spurs outside of Dylan Harper, so you're looking at like Harrison Barnes and Cornet, like we're talking about, they have to play perfect. Keldon Johnson has to hit his corner shot that he can't hit. You know what I mean? Whereas OKC, even if they're not scoring, their bench players are doing the other things. They're forcing turnovers. Yeah. They're in the passing lanes. They're keeping the offense alive with these tip outs. So I think that I don't think that
what's that new stat, that analytics stat, the WAR wins above replacement or something like what?
Maybe that baseball.
I think NBA has a stat like that too, basically saying like, hey, when this other guy comes in, like when Cornet comes in, he can't give you offensively what Wemby can. Whereas when Casey Wallace comes in for Lou Dort, Casey Wallace doesn't defend your bigger guards, but he's a terrorist on your point guard. So he can create turnovers that way.
And he can score better than Dort.
Yeah, and then when Dort comes back in the game, he can physically terrorize whomever is on the court because he's going to kick him. He's going to push him.
If I'm Mark Daigneault,
in the back of the calf.
If I'm Mark Daigneault, I'm not playing Dort another minute in this series. You know what I'm saying? Because we're at the point where we need offense. You know, like our defense is going to be fine either way. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know exactly what you're missing when Lou Dort's not on the court because, you know, it's not like he's another guy that can set up the offense or penetrate and dish. You know, he should never shoot the basketball, but he has to, I guess, to keep the defense honest. So I don't know what you're really missing without him on the court. So when you got a Kason Wallace out there, you know, you got a Caruso out there, those are the guys that I think you have to give the extra minutes to. You know what I mean? Especially Caruso, because not that you want to do it throughout the game, but every now and again, if Caruso ends up on Wemby's probably going to get off. But at the same time, like, Caruso will give him a little push or two that the rest of the team can't necessarily give him. So I think that at this point, it's almost at the point where you just have to let Wemby score 45 and then just try to shut everybody else down. Yeah, because you know what I mean? Like the other night, the Spurs, they feed off of Wemby. So you know what I mean? And you know, but the problem is they get the feed off of Wemby because OKC is collapsing on Wemby when he starts to go off. He's 7'5". There ain't much that you're going to do to stop him if he chooses to try to score. You know, and that's why I've been saying I would like to see more Chet on him. I'm not saying that. So at the beginning of the series in game 1, my thought was wherever he goes, Chet goes. You're on Chet Island. You know what I mean? That was my thought. I'm not thinking that at this point, but I think you need to have Chet on him at least, I would say, a third of the game intentionally.
Nah, I'm going heavy body versus tall body. I'll take a heavier big over a tall big because.
Oh, so you want more Hartenstein?
Yeah, I want Hartenstein if I'm gonna go big. The other J Will and Caruso if you're playing small ball. Like I'd like that option because it's the same thing with Chris Paul used to guard KD. Like just get in his hip, annoy him, make it difficult because you're not gonna contest his shot, no matter how hard you try. But if you can get him off balance, without getting a foul call, I saw a couple of foul calls with Chet. He created the contact with Chet, and then Chet got the foul. And I'm like, I don't know the difference between a block and a charge in the NBA, but like I like a heavier body on him. Yeah, I'd rather a heavier body because like Chet can't do anything with defending it. Like no one can, but I think he can bully Chet. They have him listed at 240, and they got Chet at 215.
I don't say Chet's 215 either.
Bags full of textbooks. Yeah,
like Chet's only 215.
He's bags full of textbooks.
Chet's only 215 because he's tall. Like you know, regularly he's like 185. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so they had him listed at 215. I'll give him 206, 200, and Wemby at 240. Okay, I'll give you 225. But even with that, it's spread out so far. It's like it's not even. There's no base. Like Hartenstein is probably 250, 260. But he's, you know, a few inches shorter, a little more solid. He can handle that, you know. He could create situations where Wemby has to exhaust himself playing defense.
Yeah. And I love the moment between Mitch Johnson and Carter Bryant the other night, you know, where, you know, he kind of yelled at him, chewed him out. You know, he made a turnover the next play, yell at him again, and eventually, you know, he gets it right. You know, like that's coaching. You know what I mean? Don't give up on him because he made a mistake. You know what I mean? Because you're going to need him for the rest of this series as he just hit a 3 a few minutes ago. Yeah, like you don't want to do that. You know what I mean? And here we go. Wemby at the end of the quarter with the ball. I don't know why they keep letting him end up with the ball at the end of the quarter, but You know what I mean? I mean, he didn't make it, but I feel like they put him in the game just to take that shot too.
Yeah, it did. He wasn't in the game the last 4 minutes.
They put him in there just to take the last
5 or
second
6
shot.
minutes of the show, he was not on the floor. It was Cornette, and they just put him back in.
So what do you need, or I should say, what does OKC need from Shea the rest of the way to close this out?
Be aggressive, attack the rim. He's had a few layups in his first half that he missed, but I think if by my count, I think he put up at least 6 or 7 shots. He knocked down the tying 3 and make it 27 all. Just stay aggressive. They can't guard him. He has. I always think about that famous clip where Patrick Ewing was coaching a guy and he was like, "When do you work on that shot? Like, when do you practice that shot? Like, I've never seen you practice that shot. That is not a good shot." Well, SGA practices and he works on all of those shots. All he has to do is get to his spot. And they all, like the offense, when he has the ball in his hand, guys are screening, running guys, creating switches so he can get to his spot and shoot the shot he wants to shoot. Or he gets a guy like Carter Bryant on his hip and pump fakes him. Castle is just a safety out there. He's ready to hit anything moving. He falls for the pump fake every time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he might be a better linebacker than Shamar Stewart.
Yeah, he's getting to his spots and he's creating these free throws. It just, you turn them into and ones and these points start to rack up. But like I said, just stay aggressive. I think OKC will be fine. It wouldn't surprise me if they won tonight and game 6.
Well, I was talking to somebody earlier about that. I think OKC needs to win tonight because, and this is just my thought, I think I trust OKC more to win down here in game 6 than I would San Antonio going into a game 7 up there.
7 in OKC.
You know what I'm saying? So I think tonight, I don't want to get into the whole it's a must win, but you know what I'm saying? But I would
said that it is.
I would caution OKC to win tonight.
Yeah, the winner of game 5, obviously the series has to be 2-2. The winner of game 5 in the 2-2 series is something like 63 or 70% goes on to win the series. So with it being as competitive as it is now, get this win at home. Short flight down to San Antonio. What are we looking at? Today's Tuesday. They'll play that game Thursday. Be ready to go, because the last thing you want is the Knicks just resting and recouping.
Oh, that's exactly what they're doing, because you know what? The Knicks got 8 days. The Knicks got 8 days until the finals. You know what I mean? And here we are, something that we haven't seen since 1999. The New York Knicks in the NBA Finals have not won it since 1972. So we got a chance for some real history going on here. Now, with that being said, you know, the Knicks are just a machine right now. You know, ever since they lost those back-to-back games to the Hawks, you know, they had the team meeting, and then all of a sudden the Knicks look like OKC from last year as far as how badly they're beating people. And Mike, here's your stat of the night. You know what I'm saying? The Knicks in this playoffs have outscored their opponents by 19.4. It's the highest differential in the playoffs since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in 1970-71, him and Oscar Robinson and the Milwaukee Bucks that were beating teams by 14.5 points. So, woo! But here it is, Mr. Logical. Before we even talk about the Knicks, I got to ask you this.
All right.
Should the Cavs fire Kenny Atkinson?
Nah. But that's because I think coaches get fired too much. I think it's just you can't keep rebuilding and then leveraging championship level expectations on the rebuild. Like, it's just like you can't fire. If someone's been working a job for 3-4 years, you can't fire them. Go find a replacement and have them learn, even though the previous person isn't there to teach them, and then put the same level of expectations you had on the person you fired with the person you hired. Like, it just logically doesn't make any sense.
So last year, they finished with the number 1 record in the East. Obviously Mobley, Mitchell, and Garland had different injuries during the series against Indiana. They made the conference finals this year. I say fire the GM at least because he's the one that brought in James Harden. But Mr. Logical, let me digress for a second. So a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about the draft lottery, we talked about should you feel bad for the Sacramento Kings? And I said no. Now we sit here on the brink of Mike Brown has got a team to the finals. He might play against De'Aaron Fox in that finals. And then Tyrese Halliburton made the finals last year. So maybe I don't feel bad for the Kings as an organization, but I damn sure feel bad for those fans because that is negligence.
I mean, listen, that's when you're a bad organization, make bad decisions. And that was one of them. They fired Mike Brown after he did a press conference while he was driving to the jet, right?
Yeah, he was on his way
like he was
to go to the game.
To go to the game, and they fired him. So that's indicative of like how poorly they manage their teams.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna say what's up to the Knicks though. Like Landry Shamet was 10 for 11 from 3.
That's my guy.
10 for 11. And it looked like I was watching the game and I was talking to my son and I was talking about how well they're playing. I was like, look, Shamet about to hit another 3. When the ball was in the air, it went in. He did it. So each time I was like, about to knock down another 3.
Hey, every time Shamet shot the ball
wide open.
Every time Shamet shot the ball, I felt like Smokey after I felt like Smokey after Craig beat up Debo, and he's like, "That's my dog." That's how I felt when Shamet was taking all those threes. You had a Josh Hart game in this series. 26 points,
27 points.
You can't even look. So don't take it for granted because I've been hearing a lot of people say that the winner of this series is going to be the NBA champion. Don't take it for granted. Don't take it for granted. Now, granted, I'm the number 1 Knick hater. So I got to eat some crow because, I've been talking all year about how they weren't going to get to this point. So I got to eat my crow.
I recently jumped on the bandwagon, so I can't front. I jumped on the bandwagon probably after game 1 against Philly. I was like, no, probably game 2. Game 2, I was like, okay, this is a different little vibe. I saw a stat yesterday. The closeout games for the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
I think they won the first one by 31.
No, they won the first one by 51.
The first one was 51.
Yeah.
51. So 51, 37, 31 and 37 or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Something like that, yeah.
The clinch, yeah. So it was like, I saw the 50, the 51, but I was like, that's a crazy number to see in a basketball game. But they had, like I said, they lost 2 in a row by 1 point to the Hawks. The way they're moving the ball, some of these passes, it's the basketball that I like to see, but it seems like no one else plays it. Mikal Bridges, middies. Jalen Brunson, middies. Cat, stretch 5, stretch 4, shooting a 3, but assists from the.
No, I gotta give Cat credit. Cat is doing what they need him to do.
Bounce pass assists from top of the key through a 2-3 zone. How do you let that happen?
That boy looked like he went to Kentucky or something, don't he?
Get a bounce pass to Josh Hart on the baseline through a 2-3 zone.
Yeah.
It seemed like they were hunting James Harden. And
let's talk about him for a second.
The fact, my sons, we were watching the game. He was like, I think game 4 is when they're down 3-0. He's like, I think these teams just give up. He's like, because you're not going to come back. And it's like, why do we win this game just to fly back to New York, deal with the fans, deal with the travel, just to close out there? The arena is going to be ridiculous. So you know what? If we can knock down these early threes and stay in the game, then we'll see what happens. But once that lead, because I turned the game on, it was 17-16 Cleveland. I think James Harden had the ball. He put a shot up. He might have made it, might have missed it. But yeah. So then the Knicks hit a 3 to go up 19-17. I'm doing some stuff in the kitchen. I look back up. Me and my son are talking. I look back at the TV. He was like, wait, it was 20. He was like, it was 26-27 when I looked at the TV. I think the score was like 53-29 by the time he looked back. So he's cracked open a few crab legs in the kitchen and looked up, and all of a sudden they're down 20 points. And he was like, yeah, they're done. They're going to give up. So James, it's like James Harden, once the dude gets by you, it's like he just put his hand straight down and let him keep going. It's like, yo, just get the foul.
Sometimes he just strolls. He just walks across the court while the play is happening behind him.
He shot the 3, which is basketball 101. If you shoot the 3, it's going to be a long rebound. The guy defending you leaks out. That's just, if you go out to close out on the 3, you just keep going. The rebound comes, look up. James Harden's in the paint with Mobley and everybody else, and Brunson's by himself at the other end of the court. This is the first quarter. I'm like, yeah, this game is over. But like,
in the
talk
press
about how bad his
conference,
defense is. It was a point in this series.
Well, in the press conference, he was talking about I think my defense was solid. I know that they, it says 4-0, but we were the better team. You got Kenny Atkinson talking about the analytics says that the expected score had them winning 2 out of 3. And like, this is the thing, right? James Harden, we know what his playoff reputation is.
Appreciate it.
What I'm saying? And so I'm not going to repeat it again, but what we always say when it was Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland together. So now when you got Mitchell and Harden together, if they aren't scoring, neither one of them provides anything for you. So in this series, Mr. Logical, here we go. So James Harden averaged 3 assists in this series. 3 assists. You know who else averaged 3 assists in this series? Mobley and Strus. But the funny part about it? James Harden averaged 4 turnovers in this series. But no, so look, Cleveland's got some decisions to make. You know what I mean? James Harden has a $42 million player option. Evan Mobley, do about 50. Donovan Mitchell, do about 50. You know what I mean? Jared Allen, just a hair under 30. So, they got some decisions to make. You know what I mean? And I think, one, I don't know how much you can win with a dude like Jared Allen, right? Like he's basically athletic Hartenstein. He's just taking up space.
You can win. No, I think you can win way more with him because there's no defensive game plan for him. And if you can offensively, excuse me.
Yeah, but if you're going to get killed on the boards like they did, bless you.
Well, he gets killed on the boards because he has to help defend because the 2 perimeter guards defend no one. So he can't rebound because he has to float from where he's standing by. He's in the dunker spot for the rebound. And then Josh Hart just dribbles right past Donovan Mitchell or James Harden. Mobley does not rotate over at all. He defends the rim 0 times. So it's like up to Jared Allen. And then Mobley, we talked about how many games he'll have like 2 to 4 rebounds. So, bro, you're 7 feet tall. And the thing about, I heard him talk, there's no bass in his voice. Like there's no, like, you need a little fight. Like I can't have a player talk like, we just got to make sure. I'm like, bro, where's your bass at? How you that big and you sound like a teenager? Like, yo,
Jared Allen's going to
you. And I just didn't see any fight from the team.
Knowing how the NBA works and how the Lakers work, Jared Allen might just be the DeAndre Ayton replacement at this point. You know what I mean? But I think it would work because I believe the Lakers put more emphasis on defense and help defense with the wings to the point where if you are DeAndre Ayton, that's what I was like, yo, just get the rebound. Like, we got this other part. We're going to funnel them to you.
but they put an emphasis on defensive rebound and being good defenders. They just couldn't shoot. Like those guys, their offensive strategy didn't allow for people to shoot open looks. They didn't create a lot of open looks the way OKC or what the Knicks are doing, the way Golden State does generally, the way a lot of these other teams that score a lot of points. But the way he plays defense, I think is fine. The problem is you're going to pay Mobley, Harden, and Spider 50 each probably. Say we go 40 each. I know that's low.
Yeah, Harden.
So
Harden's
three guys who give you nothing defensively. So it's three.
Yeah,
Harden's
player
guys
option.
Give you nothing defensively.
Harden's player option is 42, and you know what I mean. So I don't know. Like you got to make a decision, but it's a player option, so he's going to opt in at the very least. You know, so I guess
Correct.
you have to try to see what's on the market for him, or you know, is it time to move Spider? Is it time to move Mobley? You know what I mean? Because I do think that like if we switch teams and Mobley was on Detroit, you know what I'm saying? I think the Knicks have a little bit more problem. And if I'm Detroit, I'm sitting at home like, how the hell did we lose to this team?
Because they have even more of an when they were leaving Thompson open offensively and then not letting him work defensively, it just was like he literally just out there doing cardio and not contributing. So I think that was a good adjustment. But yeah, they could have used another score. But I don't know. I just think I watched Mobley early in the game yesterday, like get his attempts, you know, attack the rim. I think he knocked down a couple of jumpers. But just consistently, I don't think Cleveland, because they're two guards, being Mitchell and Harden, their claim to fame and the value they bring your team is offensively, it's not really in their best nature or their interest to get Mobley the ball.
Well, yeah, it's the same thing you were talking about with Wemby a few years ago. You know, where it's like they're literally playing keep away from Mobley. Because I brought up, I think it was game 2. He came out and had, I think it was 14 in the first half. He didn't even take a shot in the second half. You know what I mean? So
how does a guy that big not get a play call for him where he gets a lob dunk attempt?
And I think Cleveland, I honestly think that Cleveland just, after game 1, they just threw the towel. You know what I mean? Like, I think after game 1, they were just like, bro, that was our chance right there, and we couldn't get it done.
I'm going to say game 2. Because game 1, all right, they got us. They had the comeback. You still had an opportunity to take home court advantage in game 2. I think the way they kind of just pretty much were just never in it. And some of those shots that the Knicks were hitting. I mean, I think OG, like, I don't know if you could pull the percentages up for that particular round, but if I had to guess, they probably had 2 or 3 of their perimeter guys shooting over 50%.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Shaman obviously was 92% from 3. Like that's not even. We can go.
Like, I can do that on 2K.
We can shoot 11 threes right now, uncontested, and wouldn't go 9 for or 10 for 11.
Yeah,
I mean, so it's like for him to go 10 for 11 in the Eastern Conference Finals and hit the big shot. It's not like he had like garbage time threes. He hit the big shot in game 1, and then literally 92% of the time from 3, he was good. And they were all backbreakers. Like the one was a fast break 3. He had another one from the corner. Like it just kept extending the lead. And that's what I talked about with role players. Once you get a lead and the role players know, yo, it's a go. Jalen's on. Or when Jalen was like, all right, bet. I'm going to go 16 points and 14 assists on y'all. What's good? Like Cat. I think Cat had a game. Like last night, I heard a stat. They scored 130 points. It's never happened in NBA playoff history where a team scored 130 points but not have a single player score over 20.
That's nuts.
So, like, that's that kind of high. I think this OKC San Antonio series going 7, it might help the Western Conference team because I'm pretty sure the Knicks are ready to lace up tomorrow to keep that going, to see the ball go through the net. I mean, Mikal Bridges was being defended aggressively by James Harden. It was like shot clocks running down. He was on one foot.
He was
falling
trying
off his
to
pivot.
he had to shoot the fadeaway.
Yeah, he shot the fadeaway, hit no rim, all net. I was like, yeah, this is a wrap. This is a wrap. And when these guys shooting like that.
So you know what I'm about to ask you, right?
Let's hear it.
If you're the Knicks, who you want?
San Antonio.
Tell me more.
I want San Antonio because I think the second unit has less offensive power, and I can game plan a little bit better for that. I think the Knicks second unit has a guy like Jordan Clarkson's ready to shoot. I think Shamit's ready to shoot. I think Alvarado, good point guard, can, he's not going to try to play above his role. Like I said, I think the Knicks players, I said this a couple weeks ago, I think the Knicks players are so cemented in their roles, and I think they play them at an A level. I think every single guy, even Cat, it's probably people thinking Cat should have averaged like 26 and 12. But it's like, you know what? Everybody's shooting the ball well. I'm going to just go out here. I think he knocked down like his first 2 or 3 threes last night. And then I'm going to feed these other guys that are everyone, like I said, everyone's playing their role at like an A level. I'm not sure San Antonio's bench guys are like cemented in their roles to where they know exactly what they need to do every possession. I think Josh Hart knows every single possession. Whatever it is, I have to do exactly this. I think OG knows exactly I got to do this. Mikal knows. Like, I think every single guy. No, I don't think a player on the Knicks walks onto the floor and thinks to themselves like, okay, now I gotta do what Jalen Brunson was doing because he put up 12 points in the first. Now he's going to the bench. I got to put up 12. Like, I don't think any guy's going to do that. I think that's the different part.
Looks like Caruso's going to the locker room. I think if I'm on the Knicks, I might want OKC if I'm gonna get this version of OKC. Now the problem with that is we're seeing this version of OKC because of the Spurs. You know what I mean? Like, it isn't like OKC is just falling off or whatever. The Spurs have a lot to do with this. But if I'm going to get a half-ass Chet that is inside of his own head, no J-Dub, depending on how long AJ Mitchell's out, then of course, like I said, we'll see what's up with Caruso. I don't think it's too serious. But, I got Lou Dort to cancel out my Josh Hart, and I'm going to take Josh Hart over him, as those guys that are going to be left wide open to take the shot. If I'm the Knicks, these young dudes, on San Antonio can cause problems and spread us out, whereas OKC, they might still be in a position where they need SGA to kind of, go balls to the wall.
But we saw that in the Lakers series. SGA averaged less than LeBron did.
I know, but that's the Lakers who don't play defense and who couldn't score.
I think they played defense well, but they scored over 100 points in the few, and like I think
right. But the Lakers had a couple of people that like they had Luke Kennard who will score 27 one night and not score the next night. Marcus Smart
any of that in the OKC series.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Marcus Smart ain't gonna hit nothing, consistently. You know what I mean? You got DeAndre Ayton who might grab some rebounds, but you're not afraid of him. So I don't think the Lakers are the best representation of, would OKC have been able to if Houston was fully healthy with Kevin Durant,
as far as like it going through SGA.
I know. But
those other guys were like, but the OKC, the way I talked about the Knicks and those guys playing at an A level for their role, I think OKC, their collective, like their bench guys, all play catch and shoot, best shot. Don't be afraid of the moment. Like, listen, if the ball gets to you and you're open on the wing for the three, shoot it. If you can get this pass in, I just feel like they operate a lot more like the Knicks as far as like guys knowing their role with the second unit. I just think there's an opportunity for you as if you're the Knicks to get the San Antonio second unit guys out of their character. You get a couple of guys in foul trouble. Now, I mean, you're bringing in Harrison Barnes. Harrison Barnes is, I mean, he's an old head. That's a lot. That's a lot.
I need somebody to drop off some cream of wheat and cold cuts to Chet. You know what I mean?
Get knocked around again.
Yeah, like Keldon Johnson literally gave him like a Emmitt Smith forearm shiver and dunked on him. Of course, the refs didn't call an offensive foul, but that's another story. So you know, I think that, you know, we're in store for a great finals, no matter who the opponent is. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be a long series. You know, we'll see how it goes. You know, but let's do something that we don't necessarily get to do very often this time of year.
Which I'm happy about, because the NBA has been hitting. Anybody who's out here talking about, oh, nobody wants to see this. You got New York in the finals now. You potentially have the new face of the league in SGA and two-time MVP, or the European face of the league and Wemby making it to the finals.
Hey, and
I don't hear no small market talk. We got everything that we asked for. We got the big bad Boston eliminated in the first round. We got flopping ass Philly up out of here. People don't like seeing LeBron make it that far. He got swept. So everything that people want to happen in the playoffs is happening. So
plus,
I don't want to hear shit about nobody want to see San Antonio in the finals.
But one last thing, if I'm the Knicks and I can avoid Wemby, sign me up for that too. But you know what I mean? To your LeBron point, how ironic after you sent me that video yesterday that you would say something like that.
At least we're talking about basketball. You know what I'm saying?
All right, Mr. Logical. What you want to see in the NFL this year?
All right, cool. I was thinking about this earlier when I was cooking up a nice little ribeye. I'm looking forward to them changing the kickoff rule back to something that makes sense. I'm looking for them to come up with something besides the automatic first downs for defensive holding. I do not like illegal contact. I think that's a bullshit rule because Travis Kelce literally runs into safeties and pushes off at 8 to 12 yards every single time he runs a route, and they never call it. I'm looking for them to allow the defense to play defense and stop giving the offense every single thing. I don't want to see the same teams in prime time all the time. It's football. We're going to watch it all the time. I hope they change the schedules where they don't have games on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays. Like, let high school kids get their Friday night.
The Seahawks got 2 Wednesday games, I think it is, this year.
I hope the overseas games flop so they don't do it again. So I want to see division games played on home fields. You could do preseason games in Melbourne, Australia if you want, because they don't give a damn if the third string quarterback's in or if it's Patrick Mahomes is in. No one cares. So stop wasting division games. I think Seattle is playing the 49ers in Australia, or the Rams are playing the 49ers in Timbuktu or some nonsense. I'm sick of that. So I hope all of those endeavors fail and they go back to basic football like we had it and stop making it a gambler's paradise because you want people to return the kicks. You kick it in the end zone, you get the ball to the 20-yard line. If you catch it in the end zone and you don't want it at the 20-yard line, block better so your returner can get past the 20-yard line. Stop giving these people the ball at 35 and 40-yard line at the end of the game where all they need is 2 first downs and the guy's kicking a 62-yard field goal to win the game. Make it work for it. All right, but now we talk football.
Well, if I could make it about myself for a second, you know what I'm saying? I want to see how Washington gets through these first 8 games. You know what I mean? I'm interested in this. You know, opening at Philly and Dallas back-to-back to start the season. You know what I mean? Get the Super Bowl champs before going overseas to play the Colts. Come back for the Giants. Go to San Francisco on a Monday night. Get the bye week. Come off the bye week with the rematch with Philly. And then get the Rams. And then guess what? You get the Giants after that and then Cincinnati after that. So I want to see how this schedule starts off. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to see if Washington can go, say, 6-3, you know, during that stretch or something along those lines.
You are dreaming.
No, they're not going to. I'm just saying, like, I want to see, like, I just want to see how it ends up. But also what I'm looking forward to is Cam Ward year 2. You know what I mean? They went out and got Carnell Tate in the draft for him. They picked up Wan'Dale Robinson. They brought in Brian Daboll as the offensive coordinator. I want to see what year 2 looks like. Now, they still didn't necessarily. That's what I was just about to say, Mike. They didn't get the O-line still. You know what I mean? But we got another year of Cam Ward. You know, he got his knocks last year. Let's see what it looks like this year. So that's one thing I'm looking forward to. Here's another one for you, Mike, and I can't take credit for this one. I got this from John Breach from CBSSports.com. Will the Pittsburgh Steelers win a game on a Thursday? They are 0-9 in their last Thursday night football games against division opponents. So week 4, they get the Browns on a Thursday night. Can they end the streak?
Well, who's going to be the Browns quarterback?
Oh, it's going to be Freaky.
Deshaun?
Yeah, Freaky Zeke.
I'm going to say that might be the most ill-equipped front office in the league. Well, lack of foresight. Like, they should have thought about this. Like, yeah, why are we drafting all these quarterbacks when we got a guy we owe $200 million to? Like,
yeah.
They just didn't make any sense. As far as the league goes, I want to see the rookies.
Oh, Lou Dort with the 3. My bad.
I want to see the rookies, see how they perform. I think Mendoza and Kirk Cousins is probably the perfect marriage. I think it's unfortunate that they're married to a team in Las Vegas. Like you said, Cam Ward, second year, he got Cardell Tate. We want to see Cardell Tate if he's a true one.
I'm here for Jeremiah Love.
Jeremiah Love. I was thinking, but like I said, they got the 3-back system. Are they going to be able to get him in? I saw some clips of him practicing kickoffs, so that could be an element that they could throw out there.
All right. Well, here's one for you. So I made it about me earlier.
First to worst.
Okay, that's a great one. So I made it about me earlier. Now I'm gonna make it about you. Which left-hander is going to survive the state of Georgia?
I get the Atlanta Falcons like Facebook posts and like little video clips, and it's like, oh, Tua to Drake. I'm like, yeah, they're in shorts. There's routes against air. Like, this is not like this. Like, why are we posting this? I get it. You gotta get the fans excited. Man, it's so many. There's too many elements of. The last thing I saw from you was substandard. I can't. They're all married together. Tua, a team give you $250 million 24, 26 months ago, and you're already off their. They're paying you to be on another team. Penix, they drafted you 8th overall. You had a knee injury. I don't know if it was a full or partial ACL tear, or if he has some other stuff going on. They fixed it all up because that injury happened, but you weren't looking good prior to that. Stefanski, you looked completely disconnected from the last team you were the head coach of last year. Now you're here. We've had some offensive linemen retire. We didn't do great drafting offensive linemen generally. The defensive line finally got some pop. But once again, didn't get a lot of interior pressure. Got another corner. So I just feel like it's more of the same. And I'm not really optimistic about like a breakout season because so many things that you need for a guy to have a breakout season, I don't think they properly addressed.
All right. So can I do it?
Go ahead.
I want to see Ruben Bain. You know what I'm saying? They've been talking about these little arms. You know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying? So I went and did some digging, because he's at 30 7/8. There you go. Get to the free throw line after that block shot. So you got Trey Hendrickson with the 32-inch arms. Going back in the day now, Terrell Suggs was at a 32. The reason I bring that up is because they say below 33. But these are the ones that matter, Mr. Logical. Micah Parsons, 31.5-inch arms. Dwight Freeney, 30.1. So Ruben Bain's arms are actually longer than Dwight Freeney's. So I want to see this. And watching Ruben Bang last year, and I'm not going to sit up here and act like I'm the kind of dude that can watch the tape and crunch it up and be like, hey, I see the technique, I see this, I see that. But what I saw was a damn good football player.
Taylor Lewan says something on Bussin' with the Boys.
Doomerville is a good one.
He said, he was like Ruben Bain. He talked about how he just grabbed the hat at the draft and didn't stop at the mirror. He was like, I watched this guy. He was like, his ability to bend the corner. He was like, I wouldn't be able to do anything with him. He was like, I'm glad I'm not in the league to have to deal with the guy like that. And Taylor Lewan was a damn good tackle. And he, he was always fighting. He was always fighting Josh Norman and shit like that. So he was a damn good tackle. For him to say like, yo, I'm glad I don't have to deal with this. So whatever he saw in film, I'm going to take his word for it. Like, hey, I'm glad I don't have to be out there dealing with this guy. I don't know.
Oh, Chet, okay.
Or the thing that really created that.
Chet scored. First thing I see is Wemby stand up and walk towards the scorer's table.
Yeah, enough of this.
Enough of you.
Yeah. So yeah, like, I want to know if the Giants really are going to be able to turn around. I know we had like,
stay there.
I guess we could call it the controversy.
I was going to bring that up actually.
Trump. And then Abdul Carter like tweeting it out, and then what's your boy named Marlon Humphrey down in Baltimore saying like, "Yo, where's the fake hate coming from? All these people like them," and I get it. We all entitled to our opinions, and we have free will, whatever else you can support, you want to support. I just don't understand why people are tying their personal allegiance to their political affiliation because like. It just it's odd to me that that's how you identify yourself, how you walk around, or how you grade people on it. But in that same sense, you as a teammate tweeting about it and then tweeting back like, "Yo, we good. Don't worry about us."
We talked about it as men.
We talked about it as men. I was like, "Come on, dog. You're watching.
Like, why you ain't do that in the first place?"
Yeah, but you should have hit him up in the first place. But you wanted the attention first. I think they have the pieces because they have football is a young man's game. It's an experience game, but ultimately, it's like I think about the Atlanta Falcons when they went to the Super Bowl. It's like there wasn't a lot of Hall of Fame caliber defensive players on that team. They were just young guys. Dan Quinn said, "I'm gonna keep it simple. We're running cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, and we're gonna blitz. This is it. I don't need any intricate stuff. This is what we're gonna do. You're young, you're fast." Run to the ball, scrape at the ball, try to get turnovers. This is how we're going to win games. And they went on a great streak with the experience on the offensive side of the ball. I think the Giants are there with like the playmakers they have defensively, the youth, the size. Like we saw Abdul Carter when he was standing next to Cam Scatterboo last year. And it was like, this is not a real human. How can you deploy him properly? And that's the thing for the Giants is like you have it. I don't know if they're in a necessarily like a winnable division, but I think 2 of the teams are volatile and they're likely to implode, if not both, between Dallas and Philly. And then the Washington, you talked about their schedule. I think this could be the year where 10-7 could win the NFC East. Depends on how, these seasons play out, or if AJ Brown gets pissed off or whatever in the case, or Jalen regresses or Sirianni gets on a hot seat all of a sudden. So we already know what happens in Dallas.
I've been seeing all the drama queens come out, and they're basically like, if I was in the Giants locker room, I would ask for a trade. You know what I mean? And we talked about
I'm not losing this check to support my family.
And we talked about the whole
these economic times that even though they might be created by the guy he introduced, I'm not going
Well, we talked about the boycott. The SEC boycott, that the NAACP was trying to come up, get the players to not go to the schools, get the fans to not watch or go to the games. And you know what I mean? So like when I was thinking about this in that context, I thought about something that you said when we were having that conversation. And you were basically like, yo, we grew up in America. Like we know what America is. So there ain't no way that these dudes in these locker rooms don't think that people didn't vote for Trump or like, whatever the case may be in those locker rooms that they're in. Fuck all that.
Utah.
You got a
Utah
job.
is red. This is a white kid born and raised in Kaysville, Utah. It's probably one of the whitest cities in the history of the world.
Yeah.
His parents are Trump's. Like, what do you think he's gonna do?
And then he went to college in Mississippi.
Yeah, he went to USC and was like, "Oh, this is can't do
all these liberals."
I'm gonna go to the deep South.
Get me away from these soft ass liberals.
Went from Lincoln Riley to Lane Kiffin. It's like,
yeah. So I don't look. People going either support who they support or whatever the case may be. Like, you got one job. That's to get out on the football field, knock some heads around, and win some games.
Last year, taking pictures already,
and that's fine. I don't care what you do in your off time, as long as you ain't harming anybody. As long as you ain't harming anybody. As long as you ain't belittling me or treating me in that way. Support who you want. We getting out on this football field, and I'm gonna take that aggression. If it bothers me, I'm gonna take that aggression out on Jaden Daniels. I'm gonna take that aggression out on Dak Prescott or whoever it may be. Like, I don't care about any of that. You know what I mean? But even if I'm a Giants fan, I'm sitting there looking at this whole scenario, thinking this is the dumbest conversation that I've ever heard. But then I saw the back and forth because people were like, "Oh, well, don't ask him." He's not getting pressured and asked about his political affiliations and who he supports the way that black athletes do. That's a fair point. But you know what? Just get on the football field. Once the season starts, we ain't going to care about none of this. The next thing I was thinking about is rookie CJ Stroud still in there somewhere? You know what I mean? Like the last couple of seasons,
you can't keep healthy wide receivers,
or we'll see how that offensive line looks.
They don't hurt. They don't get like 2-week injuries. He's losing his guys 5-6 weeks. He's losing from like week 9 to week 14, like the prime time of the year. We're like, I need you here. We are establishing a rhythm. It's like, nah, man, I'm out, man. I'm out for 6 weeks. So. And then, like I said, we talked about the offensive line not really being whole. Like I said,
but that's the thing that makes great quarterbacks, right? That's the thing that makes great quarterbacks is I don't need all world receivers to be effective or whatever the case may be.
You need whoever you have, you need chemistry. So if I'm losing a guy for multiple weeks, because he had a rookie there last year, he was getting a lot of passes too.
Yeah,
but
Xavier Hutchinson,
he missed, but he also missed some. CJ Stroud missed some time too, and Davis Mills came in, had to come back a game against Jacksonville. If you are thinking about the type of money his position is commanding, he needs a Baker Mayfield MVP, like when Baker Mayfield had that the run he had not last year but 2 years ago in Tampa Bay. He needs like 30, 35 touchdowns, less than 30. He needs to go like 32-8 in touchdown interception ratio. He needs to be available for every game. He's gonna have to have a year that says, okay, this is a guy we expected after the rookie year, because he can't have like another regular year and then sit down at the negotiation table with his agent or whoever represents him and say, hey, Houston, I need $50 million a year.
Right.
So I think that's what Houston has to wonder is like, listen, are we going to pay this guy? So he needs to be, like I said, 32, 34-8, something like that. I know that's a lofty number, but if I'm going to give you 42% of my cap, then you need to give me those types of numbers.
Saying next, what am I going to see from Travis Hunter this year?
I think what you got out of Colorado when he's healthy.
Well, I think
if you put him out there, he's a playmaker. He knows how to get to the ball offensively and defensively. Clearly, he's a motivated guy. I think he's nothing about him says diva. So I think you can put him out there and have him use his, natural born gifts. And like I said, if he's out there, I think it'll be fun. Because listen, you got to cover him if he's out there, and you got to run a smart route if he's defending you. Like, you can't slack. So if you're gonna put him out there and they put him in a slot, you can't just roll some safety over top and hope that he's got it, because that little wiggle at the top on that little post route, and Trevor has a cannon. So if you misplay that, he will run right past you, and you won't catch him from behind. Pause. So,
ooh,
like, so.
Well, I don't know, because I mean, you got Parker Washington, Brian Thomas, Jacoby Myers. You might not even need him over there. Like, I might look at full-time DB.
Yeah, but I want to call it like a gadget play, but I like that he has that ability. And because of that, when you put him out there, they have to adjust to it. It's like even if you're defending them and you think, like, you know what, they're not gonna throw him this ball, you're not gonna slack. You're not gonna put a linebacker on him. So you have to commit somebody to him for these deep shots, which I imagine that he'll take either like a quick drag route, just get the ball in his hands, or maybe like a jet sweep where he can get on the edge and make something happen. I think if he has that ability and he has the energy and he has the capability to do it, just go ahead and let him execute it.
Well, I talked about Washington's schedule, right? Well, here's one for you, Mr. Logical. The Super Bowl runner-up, New England Patriots. 3 of their first 4 games on the road. At Seattle, at Jacksonville, at Buffalo, with the Steelers mixed in there. And
I don't like the Super Bowl rematch to start the season.
And, the number one question in America is, how many of those games is Diana Rossini going to be at?
Yo, it's crazy that Mike Vrabel hasn't gotten the heat, or at least the conversation. You can do whatever you want in your personal life, and everyone says that's the case. You can do whatever you want in your personal life. You can do whatever you want, but people still converse about it.
Except if you're Ime Udoka.
Yeah, but and I get it. You can do whatever you want, but the conversation is still had with people's opinions being leveraged, publicly. So, but no one's even talked about it, and this is pretty foul because, like, they've been at it since COVID or something like that.
Yeah,
her kid's said
her kid name is Michael. You know, what
the kid's name is Michael,
and it ain't Michael Jackson. I'll tell you that much. Yeah. You know what I mean?
She's not a big Michael Jordan fan, so yeah. But yeah,
OKC I think, up 13 at the half.
Yeah, I think New England. I don't want to call their last season a fluke, but I don't see it being repeated. I don't know if they really generate enough offense for the schedule that they're going to have this year. They had the 4th place schedule last year. We saw in the Denver game, and we saw again in the Super Bowl. I think those 2 games are going to be more of what we get this upcoming season without the over the top weapons. Yeah, you have good speedy running backs, but without the weapons that really stretch the field, the running backs become your primary means of your big play. I think that's easier to defend. And New England just doesn't do a good job of getting the speedy over the top wires. Randy Moss. That was because Randy was out there sandbagging in Oakland, and then Bill Belichick came through with $37 in a 5th round pick, and Oakland was like, "Yeah, take him. Here's his future Hall of Famer we don't want anymore." But other than that, I think that, like I said, the last 2 games they played are going to be indicative of what their season looks like.
All right, then I got 2 last questions before we get out of here. So, 1, can the Chargers be all they can be?
No. It just some teams have and some teams don't.
They just made Derwin James the highest paid safety in the league today.
And that was, I want to say it's a mistake, but he's a little long in the tooth. This is a physical sport, and he's probably one of the most physical players in it. They just have, I think they're likable. I think their team is completely likable. I think their coach is likable, even though he's kind of avoided a scandal and had like 6 of his former coaches get arrested and Netflix documentaries about his scandals and everything else, but he seems to get away scot-free. But and he has more career rushing yards than Bo Jackson, which is funny. But that's the thing. I think people just like them because they always look the part, and you can pick them every year to win the AFC West. You can pick them every year to like go further in the playoffs, and then a playoff game comes and Justin Herbert goes 20 for 44 with 3 picks.
Hey, you better get Bo healthy, Chris. And then my last question. So, we've been talking about tanking in the NBA. Now they're coming up with this new 3-2-1 scenario that apparently is going to screw over the Memphis Grizzlies. But with that being said, are we actually going to see teams tank for Arch?
I don't think so. And the reason I say that, as far as football, and I'm pretty sure I've said this before, football is such a physical sport, and every day is an audition for every player that's currently on the field. So we talk about the turnover. Every team is like 35% of the team turns over every year. So if I'm let me get a guy like let's go with I'm trying to find a guy on the Falcons that's kind of like a fringe guy. Let's say Warner, the backup tight end who also plays fullback. I'm probably good in a Harbaugh's system.
Ooh, bold prediction.
But I gotta show that week in and week out when I get opportunity. I can't slack. So if I'm a slot receiver and I'm trying to make this team or whatever, or I'm trying to stay glued to this quarterback because me and this person have, you're gonna run your routes hard. So I think it's hard to slack because you're getting hit every play, and it's too much going on and there's too much at stake. A couple of good game films, you could be starting on somebody else's team next year. You know what I mean? Like Tyler Algier with the Falcons, he was behind Bijan Robinson, but Arizona was like, we like what you have on film. We're going to sign you to a nice little contract. Mm-hmm. Granted, they went out and drafted another running back, but still, he got signed off of the effort on film. He didn't have that many touchdowns. I don't think he rushed for 1,000 yards. He did a couple of years ago, but I think guys just being, offensive linemen are not going to ole because they need to show, hey, I'm a mauler here in these trenches. So I think guys will go, if you get down to week 16 and it's between probably, let's say, who you think are going to be the 2 worst teams this year? Probably Raiders and Arizona.
Okay, Raiders
already have their quarterback. So Arizona could just play out the season and end up at 2 or 3 and get Dante Moore, get Arch, and be fine. But still, guys can put good, because if you don't have the horses, you're not going to win the race. So you can play your heart out in an NFL game and still lose. So you don't have to tank.
And actually, now that Rez is here, I actually do have one more question now.
All right, let's hear it.
Are we going to get weekly videos of the 49ers eating vegetables?
What, to combat the electronic?
Yeah, we gotta see these guys healthy, that they get in the right nutrients and ingredients. You know what I mean? Gotta have the horses. It reminds me of Larry David and Curb Your Enthusiasm. You gotta have the beans. But
so what happened with Ayuk other than he just lost communication with the team? Is that still a standoff?
I think if I remember correctly, Ayuk never even healed. He's still in rehab and everything. But then he just it seems like he ghosted the team.
Like he just wasn't going to his rehab appointments.
That's what it looks like. Yeah, that's what it looks like. You know what I mean? And then, of course, Jawan Jennings is in Minnesota now.
Yeah, they said they're trying to work a deal to where he goes to Washington, but John Lynch being a former player and all about the respect, you're not gonna. I'm like, listen, man. I remember Rob Parker said this back in the day on the Odd Couple. He was like, listen, if a guy doesn't want to be on my team, I don't care how it makes me look as a GM or a coach or whatever. I'll do whatever deal you need to make to get you up out of here because I only want guys on my team that want to play for my team. I don't want to have a guy who's not playing that I got to answer questions about every single week or every single time I'm in front of a microphone. John Lynch is going to get asked about Brandon Ayuk every single time he's in front of a mic. And so will Kyle Shanahan. And they keep giving these flipping answers. And I get it, but just make the deal, make the move, and just turn like whatever you get out of it, you get out of it. You could get a 6th round or 7th round pick out of it, and that guy could turn into your next Fred Warner. It's just a matter of like, do you really want this guy who you believe is blowing you off professionally?
Now get that Washington shit out of here. You know what I'm saying? He's got Jet written all over him.
Listen, he wants to. If rumor has it, he wants to play with Jay Names, but even if he goes to the Jets, if he's healthy, that's an opportunity for him to, to get big plays. If Geno can get him the ball, but like I said, I don't want if I'm running an organization, the last thing I want is players who literally aren't going to contribute to the success of our team being the center point of all of my public conversations. Like,
how many wins? How many wins does Justin Fields lead the Kansas City Chiefs to?
When is Mahomes? Like, I think Mahomes probably will come back before that happens. Because he was throwing 2 months ago. And
he could throw all he want. I need to see those legs in motion. Pause.
So he tore his ACL in November. So you figured if I'm Kansas City or the state of Missouri, I'm shifting all available funds and the best doctors in the world to make sure his knee is properly healed. I say by August, he should be.
So you think we see him week 1?
If he's running by July, I wouldn't be surprised. But that is kind of early. But like I said, I don't know the severity of the tear. My only gauge of like the anomaly for an ACL tear that I can recall, like off the top of my head, is Adrian Peterson having a surgery New Year's Day. Like New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, in the hospital bed with the Happy New Year hat on, and then coming out week 1 and had like a 90-yard touchdown run. Like he is I think that's the quickest I've seen someone come back and be fully ready. I know RG3 forced himself way back because he didn't want Kirk Cousins to take a job, which ended up happening anyway. But Adrian Peterson, literally 9 months, was on the field running 90-yard touchdowns. I imagine that Mahomes. What's their first 4 games? Who are they?
That's
playing?
what I was about to say. I was just about to go there. So here you go. So their bye is in week 5. So they start home against Denver, Monday Night Football.
Okay.
Sunday Night Football at home against the Colts.
Okay.
At Miami.
Okay.
At Vegas. And then the bye.
Okay, so week 6. I wouldn't bring it back before week 6.
So with Justin Fields, what's that record?
2-3. I'll be conservative. Unless they're just going to run the hell out of the ball with Kenneth Walker III and throw. Like the thing with Justin
at this
Fields,
point, move Justin Fields to receiver or just run the option. Let's see some wishbone in the NFL.
I think it has to be I think Andy Reid's gonna say to him, listen, out of college, the knock on you was you were a one read quarterback. Here, that's what I want you to do. You got one read. I'm gonna give you a 1B in Kelsey. If neither one of those are open, get the fuck out of Dodge and get out of bounds. Third down, do not drop back. We are going forward. We're rolling you out. And if it's not there, tuck, get out of bounds. Because I've seen so many times with the Jets, because I was getting every Jet game on all of these apps I paid for. I was getting a Jet game every week. And 3rd and 2, they'd call a pass, and he gets sacked, and it's 4th and 9.
Hey, over under. By week 3, Dallas Mike is telling us that Justin Fields is better than Jalen Hurts.
He bet not. Block him. Block from the pod. I think Justin Fields has all the tools. It's just for some reason he seems to make the same mistake.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're in for a great season. I'm excited. There's so much in the air, right? How healthy is Mahomes going to be when he does come back? How long is it going to take him to get reacclimated? Bo Nix, remember, he got hurt at the end of that playoff game.
I think
that one's fine, though. Yeah, that one's fine.
Better because you can bolt and screw those up, and then
you got, of course, it's another year of as the Bills turn. We talked about the Chargers already. New England's tough opening schedule. Allegedly outside of Washington, the Bears have one of the toughest schedules in the NFL. What's Green Bay look like with their revamped receiver? And now Josh Jacobs about to go to jail or something, right?
I heard Philly's schedule is like top 10 easiest.
I heard Baltimore has a really easy schedule too. Let's look at the Eagles schedule.
And honestly, I think these percentages are like, it's probably so close that it's like this is still like they're probably all average. I don't think there's a team because it's not like everyone's playing the Jets.
It's not like they're going to play Mercer or something.
Yeah, they're not playing outside of the league. They're not playing 2 Canadian teams.
I don't know. That's a pretty tough start, I think. That's, outside of the Tennessee game.
Carolina.
I think that's a pretty tough start.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Didn't they get
3
division games?
Yeah, they just have, based off last year's record, you have Arizona, you have Indy running it back with whomever at quarterback. You have the Giants twice, Carolina, and Tennessee. I think they have 6 games that it's like, all right, they should be 6-0.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one, Mike. I forgot all about that. Kyler Murray in Minnesota. Saying he's got the weapons to be successful.
I think that's going to be another one of those situations where we look around the league and you keep giving
Chet.
You're getting a lot of the
24-second violation.
He
didn't get it off in time. But SGA 19 in the first half.
Like Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan is the quarterback whisperer. And you could just give him anyone and he could be successful. I think Kevin O'Connell was starting to get that kind of label to the point where ownership is going to be like, we'll try this guy out. Next year it'll be Tua or Michael Penix when they don't pay Kyler after this year. It's like, oh, well, look what the job he did with Kyler last year. He went 27 touchdowns and only 10 picks. And, we had a pretty decent record. We were 11-6. We were second in the division, whatever. But they don't extend Kyler. And they bring another guy in. I think you don't want to get in that trap because Shanahan, they got lucky. They reached for Trey Lance and they happened to stumble upon Brock Purdy as a balance. But you got, I think teams have to be wary of that and, get something solid because the same Pittsburgh's going to have that same problem.
All right, last question real quick.
Move all those guys around.
We're at about 10:20 in the third quarter. How many shots do you think Wemby has?
7.
Exactly 7.
Ooh.
Exactly 7. Why are NBA teams like this? You know what I mean? Like if they were playing here tonight, Wemby would already have 16 shots.
Yeah, it's because that girl sit behind the coach standing up clapping every time.
She was clapping though. So anyway, he is the one and only world famous, world renowned, cool, calm, and collected. He represents New Jerusalem, even though he was born in Texas and raised in Virginia. He said he put his Old Dominion down and picked up a little seat in the hall. You know what I'm saying? He is Mr. Logical. Do not bring feelings to fact fights.
Don't do it.
And then down here in the Alamo, your unorthodox statistician going left so much you thought I was Southpaw. Going left so much you thought I was Ronda Rousey. 17 seconds or less. I go by the name of 2-5. This is Sports Reports' Order. We will be back on Friday. Of course, we're going to have some more, of this series to talk about. Maybe we'll be a little bit closer to knowing who's in the finals because, who wins tonight could win Game 6. Just saying. But we'll see. We'll see. But, but thank you for your support. Thank you for your time. We love y'all. Bang. We are wherever you get your podcasts. Like, review, subscribe, share, rate, do all the free things, do all the good things. Liquid Death in hand. Let's get it. Appreciate you, sir. Sports Reports is ordered. Out.
Hey. Sports reports, no gimmicks, no clowns. 2-5, Mr. Logical, we run this town. Real talk only, no chasing, no doubt. From the east to the west, it's the order we shout. Mic check, lights flash, game time, stay ready. 2 vets in the zone, keep the pressure real heavy. Big hits, big plays, yeah, we breaking it down. Truth rings in your speakers, every word is the crown. From the north side hustle to that southern flame. Midwest grind, west coast of the game. Sports talk kings, yeah, we wear that crown. Turn it up, let them know it's about to go down. Sports reports, no gimmicks, no clowns. 2